Welcome to the Operation Valor podcast. I'm Kendall Tenney. This is where you'll hear stories of men and women who have served our country and faced battles on and off the field of service. Now, before we get going with this episode, I want to say a big thank you to the writers and performers of our theme song that you hear at the beginning and the end of this podcast. It's pretty cool because we got Joe Don Rooney and Jay DeMarcus of Rascal Flatts to write our theme song. So I dare say we have the best podcast theme song in all of podcastdom, if that's a word. But thank you, Joe Don and Jay, for a great theme song. All right, today's episode, I got to talk with Stephen Guittard. Really great guy, living in Texas, served in the Air Force for 26 years. And also during his service, suffered a back injury that would impact his entire life. And we'll hear how he finally found some relief through a groundbreaking procedure. We pick up the conversation with Stephen talking about his registering to serve in the Air Force in 1977.
It started because of Vietnam. I grew up during the Vietnam era, from my elementary school days to my junior high school days to my high school days. And it was never ending. So it was like I watched my friends go into the military. I watched my neighbors go in the military, come back home, some in pieces, some guys in good shape. The only conflicts I was ever in was when I was in the first Gulf War, which I was just basically put on alert with my unit, search and rescue unit. And then Operation Enduring Freedom and all that was basically towards the end of my career. I was an aircraft mechanic in the military, first started off with working on fighter jets, the F-111s, the F-4s, T-38s. After my first enlistment, I joined the Air Force Reserves at Travis Air Force Base, working on C-5s and 141s. And after my 6-year stint with them was over, I joined the California Air National Guard, working on C-130s. And one of the best jobs in the Air Force being on search and rescue. Some of the best times was basically, training with the pararescue guys, going out with the air crews, going on different short deployments here and there for, as they call it, training purposes. So we'd either go to Hawaii for beach training. We'd go to Utah for cold weather training, Washington. We went everywhere, but it was only for like 3 or 4 days at a pop. So you're training with these guys, which was a great way to, keep the camaraderie going and learn basically what you're really supposed to do when things hit the fan. So I spent a lot of my time going out with the aircraft, being a full-time reservist.
A very tough assignment, I'm sure, in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, I basically, C-130s don't break. Mine broke in Hawaii for 10 days. It did not want to come home. Dang it, I'm stuck. So that trip made one of the top 10 trips out of the whole unit for the history of the unit.
So how many years then did you serve total?
26 years.
26. And during that time, when was it you suffered a pretty serious injury?
It was during one of my 2-week annual tours in 1999. I was coming out of the C-130, out of the paratroop door, which is in the backside of a C-130. And I've jumped off that darn platform thousands of times before. Except this time when I jumped, I don't know what happened. I hit the ground so hard, I dropped it just dropped me. And I was just laying on the ground going, I can't feel my legs.
And nobody was around to help you?
Nobody. So I was out there all by myself. So either I could reverse crawl all the way back to the hangar, which was a 1/4 mile, or I could try to fix myself and kind of get back to the hangar. I didn't know how bad it was till 3 years later when I first got my first MRI on it. And the guy goes, what happened to your discs? And I said, what? And he goes, they're not there anymore.
What was the resulting pain that you felt? What was that like day to day?
Oh, every day it was pretty bad. As you get older and everything, like I started walking forward, or I couldn't stand straight up, hunching my back over. Sometimes, I had to basically stretch out to even get my day started. And then in 2024 in January, I woke up, had no pain in my legs, but everything localized in my back. And I said, something really happened where it now hurts in one spot, which is my entire lumbar region. I said, I need to get this fixed. So I started doing my own research. And I first started looking towards getting artificial discs, which basically is a technology that'll, take your discs out and put a prosthetic disc in. But it was like, that doesn't really heal it. It's just a Band-Aid. So I went through that for the first 6 months of 2024, trying to get that done. Finally got to the point going to a spine clinic here in Dallas. It basically went through all my records and said, well, looks like you need it, but we can't give it to you because I have mild scoliosis in my lower back. So I went, well, I guess that's out of the question. So I went through and said, okay, fine, what else is there? So I'm sitting back one day early in the morning looking on my computer, and up comes this ad for intra-annular, whatever you want to call it. And I went, okay, fine. And I started reading up on it. And my curiosity got the best of me. I researched the whole darn thing for 3 months and came to the conclusion, this thing's going to work. So on the website, it said, well, basically the VA and the DOD approved it. So I went, if the VA approved it, I can go get it done. So I approached the VA, which is like approaching a stone wall, and slammed my face in the stone wall for about 5 months.
How did you finally overcome all the hurdles?
The doctor that invented the procedure heard about me and said, I'm just going to do it. So he did my procedure pro bono.
When was that?
That was in January 2025.
Okay, so not that long ago. And what was the recovery like, and then what are the results?
Well, the day I went in for my procedure, I did my usual, routine of crawling my butt out of bed, which takes about 15 minutes. And then I basically did I call it the GIMP, walking around the house to get myself ready to get the procedure done. So I got the procedure done. I was the last patient, so that was about 4:30 in the afternoon. Went home, ate something finally for the first time all day, spent a couple hours just icing it for a little bit, and that was it. Went to bed, got up the next morning, and this was, out of the blue, don't even realize it. I rolled myself out of bed, walked to the coffee machine, pour a cup of coffee, and then stopped with the cup of coffee. I went, wait a minute. I just walked from the bedroom to here in less than 30 seconds, no pain, and I just poured myself a cup of coffee. I go, that's not supposed to happen. Yesterday, I couldn't do this. Today, I can do it.
Yeah, the day before, it took you 15 minutes to get out of bed.
Yeah. And the next day, I basically got up and walked out and got a cup of coffee in 30 seconds. Then the following week, walk on a treadmill for 12 minutes and just go through that. Started getting back into weight training. In about a month and a half, started going through the motions of weight training and started getting stronger and stronger and better. My body feels a lot better. So it's like, okay, start testing it. So I started testing it with, adding weight here and there. And all of a sudden my body went, let's get back to normal here. Let's get strong. So the weirdest feeling is basically what I used to do with my legs to what I'm doing now. Because all the nerves are nice and free to operate, it almost doubled the weights that I used to use for reps. Because it's basically free and clear with a great communication down from, my brain to my legs and everything else that's working down there.
Which wasn't happening before.
Which wasn't happening back then.
Yeah. All right. As it was described to you, what does this procedure entail?
What it entails is you going in to the doctors, I got put under. They basically stick the needles into the discs, fill them full of dye with contrast dye, take an x-ray, see which discs are leaking, and then they use fibrin, which is an FDA-approved solution, and then they basically fill the disc full of fibrin, which in turn basically turns to a gelatinous material and seals up every hole in your disc. And from there, the body will basically go back to normal and start healing your discs and putting the water that you continually lose out of your disc back into the disc and basically start expanding it to almost normal.
Which frees up the nerves, and that was the big thing for you.
Yeah, it basically puts the space back in my back, into the discs in my back. So I've actually grown about a half inch. Yeah.
That's funny. Incredible though, and I love hearing those kind of results. And by the way, we should mention that not every one of these procedures, or at least not every doctor that does it, has their patients use general anesthesia. Some do it under more.
Under local. Yeah.
Yeah, but in your case, you went general anesthetic, but the
Mhm.
recovery sounds like it was a breeze.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just because my body was used to the pain, and my body went, there's no pain left, so I'm fine. And I recovered real quick. I mean, I only took one stupid hydrocodone because I can't take that stuff. I turned into a jelly ball. That's all I had was one pill the day I got home.
Yeah. And so now you're in touch with other veterans who are looking for similar relief, or you have them, at
Yes,
least one.
I've gotten 5 to a special clinic here in Dallas, working on my 6th one right now. So, which isn't bad because it's just by word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know.
Incredible. Well, man, I'm glad things are going so well for you. Thank you for your service. And I'm very, very happy that you're feeling so much better. I mean, it sounds very life changing.
Oh, it is. It's probably one of the best things I've ever done. And like I said, doing my due diligence and reading it and making and going through everything and say this is going to work. Well, that due diligence, it did work. And as we're basically going through and trying to get it so that all vets can get it, right now the Department of Defense is doing it on their military members, and we're trying to get the procedures in place so that all veterans know about it. And basically, the clinic I work with in Valor also are basically working with the vets to get them done, which they do need it because I think the number is 90,000 veterans have back problems. And some of those back problems cause them to commit suicide.
Hopefully, interviews like this one will help spread the word a little bit and bring relief to some others as well.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're looking for, is to basically try to get this whole word out, get this network to get huge and get all the veterans we can to basically say, okay, fine, I need this, let's get it done. And, that's basically my ambition right now, and my driving force is to basically continue on doing this. And just by, interfacing with all the veterans that I do around the area and things like that, and then helping them out, getting them started and getting them into the clinics and stuff like that, and taking them through the procedure.
Thanks again to Stephen for sharing his story with us. I love talking to him. Also, thank you again to Joe Don Rooney and Jay DeMarcus of Rascal Flatts for writing our theme song. I'm still can't believe that we got him to do that. We told him it was a podcast where we interviewed veterans and heard their stories, and they said, we're in. They wrote the song, and now we have it. It's pretty cool. If you want to hear the entire song, just stick around and we'll play it for you in a few seconds. Meantime, if you or someone you know has back problems like the one Stephen had, what worked for him might work for you as well. To learn more about the procedure Stephen received, go to valorspine.com. We hope to see you here next time on Operation Valor.